I look back on the couple of years that I was traveling for work with a mixture of terror and regret. Terror in the sense that I was traveling in the mid-90s before there were cell phones and GPS. And so there was times when I was traveling on the Beltway around Washington, D.C. at night with the dome light on, trying to read either a map or my list of written directions, hoping not to get lost by taking the wrong exit. I was surprised that I'm still here after an experience like that. If not dying in a crash, dying by an ulcer. There were times also that I regret how I went about the travel because I was in some beautiful parts of the world. In Munich and Florence and even parts of this country, and it wasn't the case I could stop and smell the roses. I had to keep my eyes on the destination. I had a place to go with things to do, and I just kind of missed great opportunities. And so it was a realization that maybe my destination that I was going towards, although it was important, wasn't perhaps the most important thing to me. Maybe there was something to be gained by smelling the roses, a different path. And I think that this is relevant to our gospel passage. Jesus says that he is the way, the truth, and the life. And if we remain focused on this exclusive nature of Jesus being the only path to God, the Father, we might get the wrong understanding, wrong interpretation. That's not to say that there's ways of getting around Jesus to the Father, but to think that Jesus is this exclusive, tight, narrow way sets us up perhaps for misunderstanding of life. Clearly, Jesus says that he is the gate, and you have to go through him to get to the Father. And so there is some legitimacy, some validity to what he's saying. But our interpretation might be going a bit askew. So as opposed to thinking that we need to be racking ourselves with anxiety, making sure that we have the right GPS coordinates or the right triptych, following all the right procedures, wringing our hands, nervous until we get there, we might be missing the fact that Jesus, God the Father, is everywhere. The best journeys are not about the destination, but it's the process of what we learn by getting there. So as opposed to making sure that we have all the right turns and all the right landmarks queued up so we don't get lost, sometimes meandering around, wandering around, stopping and asking for directions from a variety of people, although it seems risky and scary, and it takes a certain strength of character to admit that we're lost, often fills in an awful lot of detail that we wouldn't get if we simply stay on what we think is the narrow, direct, only path. So I would suspect that as much as Jesus says that he is the way, the truth, and the life, he expects us to explore that in all its broadness, in all its inclusiveness, to realize that there's no place to go that we can't find God. It's easy to get see things in a dangerous way, but in reality, the road to hell can be paved with good intentions. So we have to pay closer attention to what's going on around us as opposed to the immediate path right before our noses. So as much as Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and we are supposed to be geared towards finding the Father, Jesus might just wish we get lost in the process as well. Only then can we find the miracle of God every place.